everybody, I am back with a mini tutorial for you, and it's kind of, I'm calling it spooky, but I mean really it's not that scary. So I am using one sheet of that watercolor paper you saw and a gel press plate, and then lots of stencils and some golden fluid paint. So to start, I'm taking that one sheet of paper that measures 12 by 18 inches, and I'm dividing it in half the long way, so it will be 6 inches. And I didn't want a clean cut. I like the look of the torn paper, so I'm just using my ruler. Plus, a sheet this size will not fit in my paper trimmer. So then I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm going to divide it into thirds, and that works out to 6 inches. So my mini album will be 6 by 6. And I will be using my 6 by 6 gel press plate. So that worked out quite well. You don't need a scoreboard for this. If you don't have one, just mark 6 inches and then either eyeball it, like, fold it on your own, or you can place a ruler at that 6 line mark and then use the ruler to help you make that fold. A scoreboard does make things so much easier, but it's not necessary. And then I'm accordion folding the pieces of paper. When I had started this, even while I was doing the pages, I wasn't certain how I was going to put the book together. So I had to kind of keep that in mind. And for this album, I pretty much stick to about, I think it's like 5 colors tops. So this first color I am using is Nickel Azo Yellow. And I'm not going for full coverage. And as I'm making this album, I have nothing planned out in my head. I am just playing and figuring it out as I go. So I'm taking a Tim Holtz stencil, and that one is called Numeric, and I am using quinacridone nickel azo gold. So if you're using something like numbers or letters and you want, when the print is pulled, you want it to come up the proper way, then you need to lay your stencil down backwards. So just something for you to keep in mind. So this is Van Dyke Brown. And this stencil is by Wonderstrumpet. I purchased some of her stencils on Etsy. So it's like Wonders, Wonders, and I think it's all one word, Trumpet, Trumpet. There's a few stencils that I used by her on this album. And I think it's the only time I've ever purchased anything on Etsy. So I'm just removing some of the paint on my gel plate because I only wanted the skulls. I didn't want any border on it. It didn't turn out quite that great, but it'll just add to the layers in the background. I'm not too worried about it. So the reason why I'm just adding a little bit in that spot is because that's where I want it on the paper. I'm not looking at getting it all over the page. I'm just selecting where I want the color. And again, it's kind of, sometimes it just comes to you like you know, and then sometimes you really got to stop and think, okay, my paper's going down this way, so I need it in the opposite corner. I think I did mess up on it once. I think it was actually right there. I meant to put it in the other one. Or I thought I had put it in the wrong corner, so I turned my paper, but I had actually put it in the right one. So I'm not going to say the name of the colors every single time I put paint on the gel plate because, like I said, I'm using the same colors over and over again. So unless I pick up a different paint color, no, it's one of the ones I already mentioned. And so far those colors have been Nickel Azo Yellow, Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold, and Van Dyke Brown. And I think I only used 2 more colors, and those are Indian Yellow Hue and the black. I have to see what Golden calls their black. Okay, their black is called Carbon Black. Oh, and I do use some of their white later in the video as well. So now I'm using another Tim Holtz stencil. This one's called Industrial. And this time I'm going in with the Carbon Black. And that black paint, a little goes so far. It's like I could not get rid of all the paint. And I didn't even put out all that much, but it's like it just would not go away. It was on my brayer and I kept brayering it off, and it just kept coming. Oh, and I'm also using the Grime Stencil, and that one worked so well in this album. I love the look of it. I really need to use that one more often. It is perfect for giving that grunge distress look. I think that Tim guy might know what he's doing. And of course I didn't want to waste the paint that was left on the gel plate, so not even knowing what I was doing with the next page, I printed it off on there anyway. And then I took a page from the next set and used it on there. I figured it's layers. There's going to be more than one layer on the page, so I'll make it work somehow. So here is the Indian Yellow Hue, and there's still black paint on my brayer, which I hadn't meant to do, but it adds to the grunge look, so I didn't worry about it. It looks kind of cool, actually. It's funny, when I was watching this back to edit the video and I was laying those paint colors on the gel plate, I'm like, oh, I don't know, you should do that. But I do like it. Just wasn't sure about it when I was watching it. This is another stencil from Wonderstrumpet. I'll have to look up the names. Actually, I'll do that now. So it's a good thing I did look it up, because it's not Wonder's Trumpet. It's actually Wonderstrumpet. Who knew? I didn't. So anyway, this one that I'm using right now is called Birdfish Skeleton. And the skull one that you see up in on the paper in the upper left corner, that one is called Skull Swoop. And I think that's the only ones I've used so far. She has a fair amount of stencils on her Etsy shop, or whatever you want to call it. And they're all pretty much this kind of style. Like, so if this isn't your cup of tea, then she may not have anything that interests you. But sometimes I like having something that's a bit more on the somewhat odd side. I think it's fun. So I'm having to do this video in 2 parts. I was gonna say forget it and just do it in one big long one, but it would have been like 2 hours or so. I just think that's a little bit too long. I would not want to watch a video for that long. So, and I know you can speed it up, but even still, that's a bit long. It'd probably take forever to upload. So this will be a 2-part video. I'll probably post this one. I'm editing it. Well, I've already edited it. I'm doing the voiceover. Today is Wednesday, so I will post it tomorrow. And hopefully I'll do the rest of the editing and do the voiceover for part 2 and post that one on Friday. So all the backgrounds with the gel plate have been completed, and now I am going in with some more stenciling and, you know, just working the pages more. And this is another Wonderstrumpet stencil, and it is called Personal Demons. I know they're supposed to be demons, but I think they are so freaking cute. When I saw this stencil, I fell in love with it, and I'm like, I have to have this one. There's another one that I wish I got. I think it's called Stitched Dolls. I think it is so cute. I don't know why I didn't get it, but... And now I don't want to place another order for one stencil. So now I'm taking, the idea I had is to use the shirt jacket part of that stamp from the professor, and then take the skull stamp from, what's it called, Anatomy Chart. And so using the skeleton head, the skull in place of the professor's head. So I'm just getting some ink on a white piece of paper first, because I didn't want it to be stark white. And I'm going to stamp the skull image on this sheet of paper. Just adding in the collar with a white Posca paint pen, because I don't think it turned out in the stamping. And it's hard to see the jacket as well, so that's why I'm going in with a black paint pen. I didn't color the whole thing in, I just did little bits, little lines, just to give the impression. So since one of the demons got covered up by the skull, I'm going to stamp or stencil the third one in on the other side of the head. And I used a little bit too much paint on my sponge, but I'll fix that up when I go in and do my doodling stuff with the white Posca pen or marker. So this butterfly is from Tim Holtz stamp set Specimen. And I honestly didn't think that would be a stamp set that I would ever want, like with all the bugs and stuff, but I really like it. This is another one from the Professor, which I love this stamp set. It's one of my go-tos. And this stencil is called Crossbones, and you can see again it's another Tim Holtz. And again, I was a bit too heavy with the paint when I was stenciling as well. That first one. When I was editing this, I was like, what am I doing? I'm just randomly putting paint down. Like, what the heck? I didn't even see that I was using a stencil. I couldn't even see it first. But, yeah. This is actually a stencil that I made. It has a bunch of different crows on it. And I think this is the first time I've used it. I contemplated for a while leaving that spot in the crow. It looked really cool, but I ended up coloring it in because I felt like if I left it there, I had to make it something. So, I don't know. I colored it in. And then I covered the skull, so I decided to go in with another one because I can't have just two. It's not right. You have to have odd numbers. I do anyway. You can do whatever you want. And that one is from Faded Type. And I'm going in with some Rusty Hinge Distress Oxide, but I think a lot of this ends up getting somewhat removed. It probably wasn't an overly necessary step. I'm going around the edge of my page with some Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink. And then some Black Soot Distress ink. And it still wasn't right for me. Again, like I said, I had no plans when doing these pages. I was just playing and sometimes, like, there's a lot edited out where I'm like, you know, trying different things, like, oh, fights of flants, fights, no, flights, there's an L in there, of fancy, and Hero Arts ink pad. But anyway, yeah, I edit out a lot of me thinking and trying to figure out what to do next. Or auditioning stamps and, you know, trying to figure out what I want to use. So I had this idea. I put the stencil back down so I could only stamp inside the crow. And I really like it. It does end up getting smudged when I do more to other areas of the page. So it would have been great if I left it for very, very last. But again, I didn't know what I was doing. I like the look of that. I decided I didn't want it on the branch, only on him. I felt the page needed more color. There was way too much white space. I don't know. It just didn't flow with the rest of the album. And see, I got paint on the crow and then I have to wipe it off, which makes me smudge my white ink. That white ink takes quite a while to dry. I bet you I could have like just put some water on a tissue or something and wiped all that white ink off if I wanted to. I didn't really care if what was there, like if it was legible. I just wanted the look of words in there. So I wasn't too worried about them overlapping. This was very messy, but I like the look of it. I ended up doing this to all the pages, taking some of that carbon black paint and going around the whole edges of every single page. And like I said, it's messy, but it was worth it. Paint washes off. And now it's time to go in with the Posca paint pen and just do some doodles, go around stencils, highlight areas, make things stand out. And this may not be for you. Maybe you don't like the look of it, and it's totally your call. You don't have to highlight things with markers. Yeah, that bottom area was really bugging me. Even watching it while I was doing the voiceover, it's like, yeah, that needs to be covered up. Just going in with some more Tim Holtz stamps, just to add a little bit more to the background. And those are from, let me flip through. Yes, you're going to hear me flipping through my stamps. Oh, those are actually from Tiny Toadstools. These are some very old rub-ons, 7 Gypsies. So old, a lot of it was actually stuck to the sheet because I didn't store it properly, which is a bummer. But sometimes if I have any, I like to grab some rub-ons and just do what I'm doing here. Like, I like ones that you can break it apart, like it doesn't matter what it says, like, because you're only using it just to add some more interest to the backgrounds. Like, you don't want it to be something that you can read and be like, oh, why'd she put that there? Like, you know, I just want little bits and pieces of it. So a lot of times I'll rub it off and I won't use the full word unless it's something that it's okay. Just giving him some pearly whites. I think I would have liked the skull if it was, like, it's okay. I think I just would have liked it better if it had been a full head. I think it would have went with the bottom part better. See, aren't those little demons cute? I think they are. And this little stamp is from a very old Halloween set. Well, actually, I don't know if it is really old. I assumed it was because, oops, Michael's doesn't carry any new stuff, like stamps and stuff of Rangers. It really bums me out. But anyways, oh, I don't have a name for you. Well. I don't know what to tell you. It's a very small, very tiny set, and it just has that writing and then a scientist-looking dude and the word poison, toil and trouble, and then some like test tubes and bottles and Happy Halloween. It's just an 8-piece, and I think it came with that crossbone stencil. So yeah, my Michael's selection of Ranger products really bums me out. Although even if they did have them, their prices would bum me out even more, so they're so overpriced. And now since COVID, they don't do the 40% coupon anymore. They have a 30%. Which I know is still something, but I mean, their prices are so crazy that the 40% made it a bit better. But honestly, I've gone to Michael's 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and twice I bought nothing, and one time I spent, I think it was like $13. Now, my husband would say it's because I already have everything that's there, because he's a smart ass like that. But no, that is not the case. I don't find a whole lot there that's my kind of thing that I do anymore. And I'm not going to pay their prices for a lot of the stuff that I would be interested in. Like, they do have some golden paints, but I'm not paying that for it. And I don't know. There's just not a whole lot there that's for me. But I still, even though I don't find much there, I still like to go there. It's like, it's one of those things that I like to do for a little bit of me time. Like, I don't know. I'm content just to go there and look around and walk out with nothing. Every now and then I get in the mood to do that. So now it's a bonus if I do find something that I like. This is another stencil I made. I wanted certain things. Like, I find like this stuff I probably wouldn't use in a typical art journal page. Or maybe I would now, because I feel like my style has changed quite a bit. But I don't know, I think it's cool for the style that I've been doing, and even for some collage, like it can work in the backgrounds and stuff. So that first color I chose really didn't show up at all. So I'm going in with my Stabilo All pencil and I'm tracing the stencil because I didn't want it in a solid black. Like, I didn't want it that stark. So I thought I would take my Stabilo, and then at least if I water those edges, like, you'll be able to see what it is. And then I think I go in with a little bit more paint. Yeah, I've been on a kick of making stencils. I don't know. I haven't made one in probably maybe a week, but I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week before. It was like I just wanted to make stencils, like nonstop. And last week I carved some stamps. It was kind of fun. I think in one day I made, oh my goodness, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 stamps maybe. And the next day, my hand was so sore. And I didn't find my hand while I was carving them, but the next day, yeah, I could feel it. I just got in the mood, and once I started, I didn't want to stop. I think I only ended up stopping because I think I ran out of ideas at the moment. But it was fun. So you see what I mean? How I wanted you to be able to see the heart, but I didn't want it to like be too stark, like the fish, the skeleton of the fish. Like, that is really, like, in my mind, I think it's bold. Like, it's not super bold because it's blending in with the background a little bit, but it's like black and it's solid. That's not how I wanted the heart to look. That was a dilution stencil. I thought I was going to use it, but once I tried it, it was like It just wasn't working. It wasn't what I wanted. So here's the specimen stamp set again. I'm using Ranger's Archival ink. Did you guys see Diane's new release? Diane Bravely. I'm gonna be so poor. So poor. I was hoping that there was gonna be a lot of stuff that just be like, nah, I don't need that. But I think there's only I think there's only one stamp set that I don't really want, maybe two that it's like, no, I don't need it. And then a third one which is like, I don't need it now, and if I really want it, I'll get it later. All the other ones, like, yeah, I want those. And the stencils, when I heard it, they were going to be silhouettes, I'm like, oh, I'm safe. I have enough silhouette stencils. I don't need more. I rarely use the ones I have. And then I saw the ones that she came out with, and they are so cute. They are super cute. Like, she did little child ones, and all the ones I have are adults, so they have a different look, and they're just too cute. So I want those. So I want 2 out of 3 of the silhouette stencils. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the other stencils. Yeah, I pretty much want all of those. But I may just stick to like the hexagons and then wait. And if I still want the other ones, get them later. Because it would cost a fortune to get every single thing that she came out with. She came out with a lot of stuff. And she was not supposed to make it all fantastic. That's not fair. I was hoping this one was going to be some of her Christmas stuff because I'm not a theme person, so the chances of me buying anything Christmas related, very slim. And I love Christmas. I just don't care to do theme stuff. Like, this to me is as close to Halloween theme that I'll get. Like, I'm not going to do, you know, your typical Halloween stuff. This is my version. So yeah, she had a fabulous new release. And she is looking fabulous too. Whatever she's doing, I need some of it. See, I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I don't know how people just like post stuff every single day and have something like finished to post every single day. I don't work that fast. I'm a very slow maker. Like, even when my friend and I used to get together to scrapbook, she would get so much more done than I would. Like, I'm slow and I think, and I just don't, like, I've got to contemplate everything and overthink everything. She could finish an album and I'd be like, well, I have the bones done. I'll finish it when I go home. I don't know how long it took me to do this album. It was days. I just don't know how many. I don't think it was like a full week, but I don't know. I can't recall how many days. It's one thing I love about Tim's stencils and stamps. It's like, I find they're very versatile. Like, I know he has a style, but I mean, you can use a lot of his stuff in like prettier things, and you can use it like grungy and not too super grungy. And like this stuff, like that stencil, that could be used in something super pretty, and yet here it is being used in something more, I'm just saying spooky for a lack of a better word. But you know, like it can be used in different ways, and even the professor and a lot of his stamp sets. And specimen. I'm sure somebody could take that bug and put it on something really pretty and give it a whole new different look. I like it when stuff is versatile. It's probably why I'm not much of a theme person. And like I said, when I'm doing this voiceover, it's Wednesday, and I am over on the Gel Press YouTube channel with a tutorial. It'll be a two-part. Part 1 is today, Wednesday, which when you watch this will be yesterday. And then part 2 will be on Saturday. So if you haven't checked it out, go over there and give it a watch and give me some love. And then, like I said, part 2 will be on Saturday. So that'll be really like 4 days if you watch both YouTube channels. That's like 4 days of having to put up with me. I'm sorry. But I'm not that bad, right? You can manage. Just speed me up. I know this video is long, but hopefully you think it's worth it. And you can always watch part of it later if it's too long. Or speed me up super fast and make me sound like Mickey Mouse. I don't think you can really do it that fast though. Now this I have sped up a bit faster because it's like doodling and just going in with a little background stamps, like nothing, you know, that needs an explanation. And some of those stamps were from Grunged, like that one, and those like stringy looking things. And again, that's another Tim Holtz stamp. Just about everything on this album, well, it was all golden paints, gel press plate. All the stamps were Tim Holtz. Most of the stencils were Tim Holtz, and then there was Wonderstrumpet and me. That sounds kind of cool to be able to say me. Even though nobody else has them. Like, I have my own stencils that are mine. Maybe one day. Can you imagine? That would be kind of cool. Then if I had to make stencils or stamps to actually sell, I'd probably go blank and not be able to think of anything to do because the pressure would be on and I would feel like nothing was good enough. Most likely that is what would happen. Yeah, I thought about going around all the pages with the hickory smoke, but it really wasn't showing up enough to make it worth it. So here I am doing the black paint that I said I'd do. Some of the things I wanted to stand out a little bit more, like those skulls. I love that stencil, but it needs the right background in order for you to really see it. So I'm taking some titanium white golden paint and I water it down a little bit because I didn't want it, I guess, still kind of somewhat Wanted to see a little hint of the layers underneath, and I didn't want it too stark white. That's why I'll dip my paintbrush in the water, and my water's dirty, but I don't care. It adds to the grunge, right? It's all about the grunge. But I think doing this, it really made it pop a lot more. I really like the look of it. I did some paint splatters, and it's been a long time since I've done that, and I had paint in places. My iPad had paint splatters on it. It's quite messy. And that is why as soon as I come home, I usually change my clothes into something that I don't care if I get paint on them. So once I come home from work, I'm no longer pretty. My poor husband. Oh well. He goes in his garage and he gets all dirty, so he can't say anything to me. But men have a way of getting dirty and being a mess and still looking fine and presentable. That it really bugs me. This fish gave me a bit of a time. Kind of wondered if I should have went in with the white paint, but oh well. Looks a bit better now that I've gone in with that black. So this is pretty much it, I think. Oh, I go over some wings. So I will post this for you tomorrow, and hopefully I'm going to try my absolute best to get the second part posted for you on Friday. So I do hope you enjoyed it, and I know this was long, but thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you have a fabulous week and weekend to come. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks so much for stopping by. Let me know if you like my videos by leaving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also head over to my Instagram account and say hi to me over there. If you have any video requests, leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. And don't forget to check out my other videos.